Hi folks, here's an easy way to deal with those pesky airspeeds that the examiner wants you to know about, all the different ones, and how to get from one to the other. Easy way to remember this is to think about this guy, which is Ice-T, the rapper, and these ladies who are the Pussycat Dolls. Now those two names yield a really helpful mnemonic which will answer several questions in instrumentation exams. How does that work? Well, we take the ICET and that gives us indicated airspeed. It then adds calibrated airspeed, equivalent airspeed, and true airspeed. So how do we get from one to the other? We start with indicated, what it says on the clock, and we then correct for three things, actually two things, but the examiner swaps the names around. The first one is instrument error. If there's a known instrument error, that can be corrected for. The second is pressure and position error. Now that means static ports and pitot tubes that haven't been adequately well sighted and test flown. So we end up with a pressure error correction, and that can be taken care of. So we take IAS and we correct it for pressure position error, and that includes instrument error. And that gives us our calibrated airspeed. Now on a modern airliner, what you see on the EFIS is already a calibrated airspeed. It might be indicated, but it's already calibrated, if you know what I mean. Why would you have anything else? You'd want it corrected to be as accurate as possible, wouldn't you? You then take the calibrated airspeed and correct for compressibility, which starts to affect us as we get into the higher speed ranges. That will give us what we call equivalent airspeed. You won't come into contact with that much once you're through the exams. We take the equivalent airspeed and we correct for density, and that gives us ultimately our true airspeed. So ICET, PCD, Ice-T and the Pussycat Dolls. So let me just show you how we can get from them. For example, using that little diagram, which would take you seconds to scribble on a piece of scrap at the start of the exam. If I want to know how I get from IAS to EAS, well, I come down the slope from IAS to pressure. I go across to compressibility, and then I surface again to EAS. So from IAS to EAS is corrections for pressure and compressibility. Pretty straightforward, really. Let's have a look at an example question. The examiner might come up with this one. TAS is equal to what? We'll have a look at the options there. And basically use Ice-T and the Pussycat Dolls to give you that answer. It is so simple. Dare I say, even if you don't fully understand why, you can still answer these questions correctly. Not recommended, but you'll get away with it anyway. So there's your four options, and the answer on this one is Delta, IAS corrected for instrument and position error and compressibility and density. So we've got the lot, haven't we? We've got P, C and D. Hope that helps in future. See you soon.